Entertainment is a very integral part of the governance of every country. In fact, it is actually the main source of income for certain countries, and it might not be the main source of income for Ghana, but at least it plays its role very effectively, and we are growing large each day, each moment. We are now at the Ministry of Tourism, Culture and Creative Arts, and we want to catch up with one of the ministers to, find out exactly how far we have gone, and just catching up basically with our entertainment activities. We are blessed with the presence of the Deputy Minister in the person of Dzifa Gomashie. Thank you so much for this opportunity.
Thank you very much for having me.
Hey, you're looking pretty and ever fresh as always.
When I know you are coming, I know I have to catch up because you would ordinarily want to beat me to the game, so I have to up my game. Yes, thank you for the compliment.
Okay. Let's just take it straight from the recently ended event, VGMAs, Ghana Music Awards. You were there. Yes. Did you enjoy yourself? Are there impressions you would want to share with us?
I absolutely enjoyed myself, especially because a woman is behind it. Well, a couple is behind it. But more importantly, the fact that Theresa Yuade works very hard in sustaining this program. I was told that was the 17th. How time flies. I didn't realize that it was 17 years old already. But for as long as it's been running, every year they introduce something new. They do improve on their game. And I think this year was one of the best also. And they've gone wide now. I think they were showing the event live on DSTV, and so that is a plus. For that moment or the hours that we were there, all attention of Africa was on Ghana, so that was good. So I applaud them, and of course I applaud all the people who supported them in pulling this off. I'm hoping that next year they will improve on it again, and the opportunities are there, and I'm glad that they are taking advantage of it.
What is that one take-home thing that you would always play back and hope that at least, if for nothing at all, that is maintained or improved, tremendously upon?
Well, the fact that we had both female and male performers is good, because we all are in the industry and everyone is doing well in that. So, but there's room for improvement. I haven't seen yet that a female artist has won the overall, and so I'm looking forward to that day. I think Efia is capable. I think Becca is capable of winning the ultimate. So that's one area that I'm hoping that they would have. And plus, I think that there are some female rappers who are not mentioned, or they are not visible in the award scheme. I don't know why, but it would be nice to see a female representative in any or all of the genres that are up for awards, so they grab some.
Okay. You were there, you saw some of the performances. There was this particular scene that happened that many raised eyebrows. There is this particular dancer who came on stage, and the dance I'm sure you would describe as distasteful because she was practically naked, especially when she lies down to dance. You could see her button, her bump, and it was all out. I know you're somebody who has campaigned against indecent exposure, indecent dressing, to the extent that we should even arrest people who do not dress well publicly. How did you feel at that particular moment when that thing was going on? In your way, could you have done anything in your capacity as a deputy minister for the industry for that particular event?
Well, this is the kind of question that gets me into trouble all the time, but it's okay to get into trouble every now and again. But coming back to the question, yes, I'm told that was done, but after another such experience at the conference center, that same venue, I've decided that if I'm at an event and anything is going on that I do not appreciate I'm going to be on my phone. And so as soon as the dancers walked on stage with the dress, the costume that they were in, I blocked my mind out of the venue. Thank God for my training as a theater person. I can block out activities around me and focus on what I want to think about at that moment. So truthfully, I did not even see that. soon as they walked onto the stage, I picked my phone. There were people who were calling to make comments about what was going on, and so I was answering some emails and so on. But I don't think that that's the only place that this happens, though. I think it's become the norm now to have people wiggle their behinds in front of others in the name of dance. But I started as a dancer, and my diploma was in theater and dance. I don't believe that all dances have to be pelvic, have to happen around the pelvic, part of our body. But that seems to be what people think that is interesting. Unfortunately, I'm not one of those people. I think that creativity can go beyond that. I mean, as for the wiggling of waist, every human being can do that. In fact, I'm Catholic. I'm sure if we allowed the Reverend Sisters, I'm sure a Reverend Sister can even, perhaps, who knows. But there are some things that, we are putting up with. And it's going from bad to worse. And in the privacy of our homes, amongst our friends, we criticize them. We talk about it. We don't like it. But when a politician says it in public, then it's an issue. But let's just say that it's not a sellable product because anybody can do it. And so perhaps the event organizers need to pay attention to some of the acts that come on the stage. And I don't know if the musicians themselves have opportunity to rehearse with these people and see some of these things, but there's a difference between dance and having an act that is over-suggestive of a sexual act. That cannot be accepted, it shouldn't happen in an event like that. If you are in a club, of course, I mean, that's what, that kind of thing is acceptable in a club. But for a live event like that, to showcase who you are as a people, as Ghanaians, that did take a bit out of it, though. I mean, and I've read and heard people talk about it. Like I said, I choose not to watch, and so I let it pass.
Did you see some of the outfits people, especially the females, showed up in?
Some people don't show up in anything. Is that a good answer? Some people just didn't wear anything. So yeah, that's what it was. Perhaps they will also say that I came to covered up. The argument is going on social media and on other platforms of who determines what's decent and who determines what's not decent. But my answer to them is that don't use depot and don't use bragro, because that's an activity within a cultural setting, and it's an event that introduces teenagers or adolescents into womanhood. It's a teaching experience, and it's not done on a daily basis. And after that event, the girls that you see in the depot or bragro, they don't go around like that every day. It's an activity that is performed to educate and socialize people into knowing what is expected of them in their particular community. And to have that on a daily basis at every event is worrisome. If I'm going to a nightclub, of course, I'm not going to wear my kaba and slits. I know that Ghanaians have seen me in it all the time, but if I decide to go to a club, I'm not going to go in a kaba and slits, So the timing should be right. You cannot attend a red carpet event in a bragro outfit. Absolutely. In the countries that started the red carpets also, you would find that they have programs that discuss the appearance of people. And so it's not as if it's accepted anywhere in the world. So why are we copying it? And in fact, going beyond what they do and justifying it? Because the red carpet didn't start from Ghana. It's not part of our culture. Now we are importing it into the country. I've seen Fashion Police on bless her heart, John Collins. She's passed on. I've watched her on DSTV. And so if there's a faux pas, if there's a wardrobe malfunction, they talk about it. They talk about it in a very hilarious manner. and use expressions that should embarrass the person who wore it, you know. But we think that we shouldn't talk about it. It comes with the terrain. The criticism of the good and the bad and the ugly are all part of the terrain. So you must, if you are willing to dress like you are doing bragro, you should be willing to hear the backlash as well. But of course, I mean, I'm not determining for anybody how they should dress. I'm just saying that we have laws in this country. I've said it before, and people misinterpreted it. But thankfully, Ladia Yenini, Samson quoted the law in this country that frowns on that. If it's an indecent exposure, it's an indecent exposure. And you know it yourself. The moment you start tucking in and pulling down, then you know there's a problem. Nobody tells you to do that. You do it yourself, consciously. You try to, when you see people are looking, you try to cover up. So you know there's a problem. It should not be a thing for Dzifa Gomashie to be saying to you. You know it yourself, you know. But it's a free country. I think people have the freedom to do what they want to do. And nobody's going to determine how you dress to an event. But once you do it and you can live with it, bless your heart.
Let's imagine, this is just trivial, let's imagine that the law allows also for an arrest to be made if the person is indecently dressed. Would there have been any more persons left at the conference center for the event? Do you
Absolutely.
think so?
There would have been people left. Yes, there would have been people left. You would have been left.
Yeah.
Yes. You'd have left. And maybe me too.
I'm sure they are thinking, but you were too boring, you were too covered up.
I hear that, and I know it too. But I mean, that's what it is. I have a theater background. You match the action to the words, and you match the words to the action. So if I'm playing the role of a reverend sister in a play, I shouldn't be dressed like a traditional priest, should I? No. If I'm playing the role of a traditional priest, it would be weird to dress like His Grace Pamabako, like a bishop, if you are playing the role of a traditionalist. So whatever role you are playing in your head, that's how you dress. So we assess you based on that. So there's no fine rules on how anybody should dress, but you must play the part. Okay? It would be strange to have, for example, a banker or well, how do bankers dress? Well, they're very corporate, but it would be strange to have a banker dressed in bragro kind of clothes to an event. It's a mismatch. So you should just ask yourself, what event am I attending? How am I expected to dress?
Let's also talk a bit about the ministry. Let's just go through some of your achievements that you would want to improve upon, or you are satisfied. So let's start a new one.
Well, first of all, you know that we didn't have a Ministry of Tourism, Culture and Creative Arts. We had a Ministry of Tourism, and then we had Ministry of Culture, Chieftaincy and Culture. And we didn't have even Creative Arts anywhere. Creative Arts was just, it was there. Anybody who could listen to us, and who couldn't help us didn't help us. So this is the first time that we have a Ministry of Tourism, Culture and Creative Arts. So that also means that the structures that a ministry should be formed on was not there. And so we spent some time trying to sort that out. Especially with creative arts. Creative arts is dance, is theater, is film, is new media, is poetry, it's crafts, it's gastronomy, it's food, it's architecture. It's all of these things. And if you care to perhaps look at the UNCTAD. UNCTAD is the UN branch that looks at culture and creative arts. They have some lists of things there, but it's not the same thing in every country. So we also have ours. So it was important for us to see what documents are there for theater, what's there for dance, what's there for film, what's there for music, what's there for fashion, what's there for poetry, and so on. So there are fine or small informations here and there. In the cultural policy, for example, you have some things there that reflects the creative arts sector, but not in the to the level to which we want it as a ministry. So, and to do that, you needed to put together a team of people to look at the existing laws and regulations that are there, and then put them all together, and have cabinet, parliament, attorney general take a look at it and then pass it into a law. So that's what we have done, and I'm very happy that we are on track with that. Again, for creative people, I think that, and this is all over the world, which is why we have UNESCO. There's a certain space within which you perform in your country, and then in the global affairs also.